So basically, that's how you can compare two different models with each other. And now I'm going to show you another demonstration which is much shorter. So first, let's close this and open up the Revit where I can open up a new metric system file. All right. Now here inside of the plan, I can select these details and delete them. And then from the Systems tab up here, I'll select the Dock tool and create a short pathway here in the plan. Alright, let's add this as well. So then I'll hit Ctrl S to save it. And we can save it in this folder here, and we can name the file 01 and hit OK. Alright, then in the plan, I'll select this duct here in the middle and delete it. And then using trim, I'll connect these two. And for this part, I'll change the width to 800 and hit OK. And then we can hit Save As, but change the name of this one to 02. And I didn't bother to export the outsource for the Navisworks either, because the Navisworks itself directly opens up the Revit files. But be sure to never do this in a huge project because it is too time consuming. We were free to do so here because the project was light. And another important point is that in this step we make sure to not just open up the file here, because we have the ability to do so and we have the Revit format present here. But we won't do that here because the Navisworks doesn't allow us to open up two different projects at the same time. You can open up as many files as you want in the Revit on AutoCAD, but in the Navisworks you can open up only one project and you can append another one inside of it. If we want to open up a new file, we need to close the last one. And then we have another option down here that says Sheet Browser, where you can use this and open up different projects. Now, in order to demonstrate this, first we'll need a project to be open. So we can go over here and open up this file in the Revit format. And right here, you can see the reason why I say make sure not to use this method for the large projects and the Navisworks, because the conversion to the NWC format takes a lot of time, and you can do the same process much faster in the Revit file using a plugin, because in either case the Revit file itself doesn't open up, rather it's converted to the NWC format and then we can see it. Alright, and then in the sheet browser we can select this and open it up. And then if we double click on the 02 file, we can see the cycle icon right next to it. This signals the same process of conversion to the NWC format. Now, using this method, you can switch between the different models using the double click. Or if it's possible, we can right click on a plan and then select the append option, which adds it to the left in the selection tree. So for now, I'll select these two files and delete them from the sheet browser and then close it. Then we can select the two different files and then open up the comparison menu. This time we'll only check the geometry box and then hit OK. So now in the comparison plan, you can see all of the four colors that I mentioned before present. The red color symbolizes a major change up in the elements. And then we have the turquoise, which means the specific item isn't present in the second plan. And then the yellow color, which is the opposite of it. And then finally, we have the white color, which means no changes have been made. And you can see all of the effects match up to what we did in the plan. Now, this can be really helpful to the BIM managers and the coordinators and the supervisors, and it can help you speed up the process of comparison, which takes a lot of time for other co-workers in different sections. You can basically do a couple weeks work in a mere couple minutes. and then you can get a stat report as well. Now this final one was an important point which I hope was helpful to you. So now I'll open up a new Navisworks file and revert the changes to this one. And in order to begin the work, I'll go over to the Open window and look for the NWC format files. Then I'll go over to the direction where we've saved the plans, which is here in the Navisworks folder, and then the files folder, which we have the version 3 file. But first, let's select the structure as our base file. Then we can append the architectural plan, and then we can append the latest version of the mechanical plan as well. Now you don't necessarily need to open up all of the files. It depends on what you want to analyze and assess. But for now, I've selected all of the plans, and now I can save it. And when we want to do that, the format will be NWF. The size of this format barely reaches a couple of megabytes, and in this file only the comments and the changes that you make in the Navisworks file itself will be saved, and the models will only be found using the NWC format, and it's separate. Now if you want to publish the file or share it, you need to use the NWD format, inside of which you only have the ability to review the components and you can't make any changes. So now I'll save this file and I'll name it Beam Project Manager, and then I'll hit save. And now as you can see, we have the different models on the left of the application. And now I'll hide the mechanical file temporarily and just keep the structure and the architecture. So firstly, we'll need to create a couple of sets for ourselves which help us review and assess the clashes much easier. So for example, I can go over here and select one of the beams that we have in the plan. Let's first go with the structural file because it's lighter. So I'll select this column and then select the select same and then select type option. Alright, now let me check this out. Let's see which ones will be selected if we choose name, and it's all of the columns. Remember that you'll be doing this process based on your clash matrix. For example, here in the table, as you can see, we have the structural columns and the foundations and the framings, then the trusses. So I'll select the structural columns and then hit Ctrl+C to copy the name of it. And then I'll go back to the Navisworks application. And for the ones that have been selected, I'll hit the Save Selection option and then Ctrl+V to paste here. Alright, and then after that, I'll select the beam. Then from the Select Same option, I'll select the name, type. Alright, let's try this once again. Type. And then this time we'll select the name. And now all of the beams are in the project are selected. And then from our matrix table, I'll go to the ST structural table and select that. Ctrl+V. And there we go. And we also have the joists here as well, which you can put in the clashes and consider them as that as well. But I haven't put them here because in a lot of the projects which are sensitive and important, where the positioning of the ducts and the pipes are important, in order to prevent any clashes, we can assess the plan there with a higher attention to details, because as you may remember, we had different types of LO, and one part of it referred back to LOC. And as we said, this could be the commitment level or the clash level and other factors as such. Now, because of this, we return back to the LOC. Now, you can define an LOC for yourself based on the precision level of the clashes. Yeah, this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 100, 200, up to 4. And for each one of these LOC parts, we can have one particular factor. For example, in the LOC 100, I'll only assess the major clashes. When the LOC reaches 200, I'll say, for example, we have a clash of 5 centimeters, and I'll point out the offset or the depth as well. And then for the LOC 300, I'll only assess a particular range of clashes. Then I'll put in the changes that need to be made in the comments as well. And all of these items together define your LOCs. So now I'll select the foundation that we have here and then select the same type, name. Now I don't want to select the upper part, so let me just zoom out of this. I can hold the shift and then space in order to click and drag, and then I'll deselect these. Alright, because we're holding the space is probably why this is happening. So once again, select the foundation and the same type as well. And then after that, we'll select the same name. And then let's see, so we have an issue here because we have the different structures and we pulled that one up. So alright, it's fine. We can select this for now because the number of the items isn't too much and we can select them manually. So select these and then let's go over to this view, then right click and hit optography, and then I'll select all of the items in this area as you can see. Now we only have the pipes left, and for now I can go up here and select the hide unselected option so that we can select them much easier. So now I can select this pipe here and then deselect all of the same types, then hit hide, then do the same for the name as well and hide them too. Alright, select this one and hide all of these as well, and then we only have the lines here that are left, which we can go to the viewpoint tab and deselect the line option from up here in order to hide the lines as well. So now we can select it using space and drag, then Ctrl C on the structural foundation and hit save selection. And then I'll hit unhide all, and then I'll hide the architecture from here. So that's how we can do the structural parts, and I'll explain the mechanical ones in the next part and the changes